morning, welcome. So last week I was in Rwanda, and Rwanda is where we have the majority of our operations, and it's always a pleasure for me to go to Rwanda because I get to visit our bakeries. And I went to our newest bakery. This is called the Gicumbi Bakery. We launched this bakery late last year, and we did so with the intention of building it next to Rwanda's oldest refugee camp. And we did this so that we can employ both Rwandan women and then also Congolese refugee women. So I went to visit this bakery to see how the operations are doing, because this bakery has been doing beautifully. But I also wanted to ask what the women's vision for this bakery was, as well as what their dreams were for themselves. So one woman said that her vision for this bakery was that the women's bakery bread would be the best known bread in Rwanda. Another woman said her dream was to be able to send all of her children to school. Another woman said that her dream was to be able to build her own home. And one woman, who was born in the refugee camp, looked me straight in the eye and said, "I want to prove that women are not less than men. We are powerful and can accomplish great things." And I know that she will, because through the Women's Bakery, this woman and many other women like her now have access to both the opportunity and the agency to create a better lives for themselves and for their families. So at the Women's Bakery, we believe that all women are inherently powerful, and that when women have access to social and economic opportunity, the entire world benefits. My name is Markey Culver. I'm the founder and CEO of the Women's Bakery, and this morning I'm going to tell you why I think something as simple as bread has the power to change the world. So to begin, as you heard me say, our operations are in Rwanda, so this is a little test. How many of you know where Rwanda is? Mike, you can't answer it for me. There it is. Rwanda is in Eastern Africa. It's located along the Great Rift Valley. It's home to about 13 million people, and for those of you who are from the Midwest, so Kansas or Missouri, Rwanda is about 1/6 the size of Missouri, but has doubled the population, just FYI. It's a former Belgian colony. It gained its independence in 1962, and as some of you may know, Rwanda experienced a horrific genocide in 1994, where about 1 million people died in 100 days. However, Rwanda has positively transformed since then, and today is a verdant country with one of the fastest growing economies on the African continent. What's more is that Rwanda boasts the highest percentage of women in parliament at 61%. For context, Sweden is at 44%, and the United States just 22%. So, despite Rwanda's amazing reconciliation, their tremendous economic growth, and their women in parliament, Rwanda is still a country very much in development. And that's exactly why I was assigned to Rwanda in the Peace Corps. And that's where the Women's Bakery story begins, when I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Rwanda. I was assigned to a rural village, and like most rural Rwandan villages, people ate one meal per day. So in the name of solidarity, I did too, for about a year, until I was like, bump this is crazy, I'm super hungry, and I know everybody else is super hungry, and so let's figure something out. And I started making salads for lunch, teaching a group of women to do the same. Then one day, simply because I wanted it, I made a simple loaf of yeast bread. And the women wanted to learn how to make this bread, so I taught them. And the women loved the bread. But more importantly, I saw what they did with their bread, and I had two aha moments. The first is that the women immediately gave their bread to their children, and I thought, aha! This could be a way to address malnutrition in this village. All we have to do is pump this bread full of healthy fats, protein, and micronutrients. So I did, and I began creating new recipes, fortifying more breads with local fats and proteins, teaching a group of women to do the same. And my initial goal was really simple. It was just food, that I would be able to teach women a skill to help them provide a nutritious snack at home for their children. However, my second aha moment came when the women came to tell me that they had just successfully sold their bread at a nearby market. These women had sold their bread, which means that they had found a market for their fortified breads. And they were discovering that there was no supply for this market, so we could create that. So in this moment, I realized that bread had tremendous power. And in this context, bread had the power to create sustainable jobs for women. Bread had the power to enhance community nutrition through the sale of nutritious, affordable breads. And bread had the power to spark and sustain local economic growth. So the seeds for the Women's Bakery were sown. Today, the Women's means is that we're a charitable organization in the United States that builds for-profit bakeries in East Africa. And our model is relatively straightforward. We educate women, we build a bakery, and then we sell and distribute nutritious, affordable breads. And excitingly, it's working. As you heard, we've launched 7 bakeries. We own 3 of those in Rwanda, and we've piloted a franchise bakery in Uganda. So our vision at the Women's Bakery is to socially and economically empower women, because an empowered woman by herself is an outcome worth fighting for. Our vision is to provide access to nutritious breads to lower-income families, because we believe that opportunities for improved health should be accessible to all. And in East Africa, accessibility is synonymous with affordability. And our vision is to build a network of bakeries that are women-powered, because we believe that businesses can and should be a tool for social good. So many people ask us, well, why women? You're called the Women's Bakery, but why? Why is women's social and economic empowerment so important? Well, in East Africa, most women lack access to education, gainful employment, and opportunities for just basic health. So for education, women make up 60% of sub-Saharan Africa's 200 million illiterate adults. On top of that, women are more likely to work in non-paid or vulnerable jobs. So what this means, when women are undereducated and underemployed, they lack access to basic necessities, things like appropriate shelter, nutritious foods, and basic health care. This lack of access keeps women choiceless. And at the Women's Bakery, we define poverty as the absence of choice. So the absence of choice means that a mother can't choose what to feed her child or when, or that a mother can't choose where to educate her children, or even if her daughters will have that opportunity. What's more is that 40% of sub-Saharan African or East African children are chronically malnourished. So what this means is that kids don't have access to the nutrients they need for their bodies and minds to grow properly. This again goes back to the woman, because a mother's income and education levels have a direct inverse correlation to the prevalence of malnutrition in their children. So in English, what that means is that kids are more likely to be malnourished when their moms lack education and gainful employment. So for us, the question, why women, is just so easy to answer. Because when women have access to social and economic opportunities, the entire world benefits. Women are powerful change agents, not just for themselves and for their families, but for their communities and for their countries. So what does that look like in action? Let's go back to the Gichubi Bakery, the bakery that I opened this talk with, our newest bakery. So this bakery began with 8 women. And we always do a survey before we start any bakery, and it's because we'd like to know where the women are starting prior to working with us. So at this bakery, 3 of the 8 women reported having any kind of reliable income. And of that reported income, these women were earning $4.10 a month. That is barely $50 a year. What's more is that all of the women reported not being able to feed their children 3 meals per day, so 1 meal usually, and about 4 of the women had health insurance for themselves or for their families. However, after working with the Women's Bakery for 1 year, these women are now earning $1.60 a day, meaning that they're on track to be earning about $500 a year. And while $500 a year may not sound like a lot, that is a 1,000% income increase for these women, which is indisputably life-changing. What's more is that when women go through our training program, they receive a nationally accredited certificate. It took us 3 years, but we finally accredited our training program. So it means that they not only have a formal, but also a transferable education. Additionally, all of the women have health insurance for themselves and for their families, and our women are beginning to report being able to feed their children 2, if not 3 meals per day. So at the Women's Bakery, we invest in the whole woman, ensuring she has access to both the opportunity and the agency to create a better life for herself and for her family. So next, why bread? And I'm in such a great audience because we're at a bakery conference, so this isn't as difficult to explain. But for us, there are 3 primary reasons we've chosen to work with bread. The first is that we really do think it's a powerful medium for women's empowerment through gainful employment at our bakeries. The second is we also believe that bread is a powerful medium for enhanced nutrition through the sale of nutritious, affordable breads. And the third, arguably the most sustaining, is there's and in East Africa for bread. And we would like to meet that demand with local supply. So I think that this is amazing because for us, the majority of our breads sell for between 5 and 11 cents. So they are extremely affordable. And we sell in pieces of bread or single servings because we know that it's the easiest but also the most impactful way to reach a mass market. And this mass market is important because 85% of Rwanda's population is agrarian or lower income. To most, that would look like an unhospitable sales environment, but not to us. Because at the Women's Bakery, we see opportunity where others see risk. And we see enormous sales opportunity in this lower income mass market because it is largely untapped. You heard me say there's demand, and Kerwin can attest to that. There is demand, but there are no other commercial options for bread, for nutritious bread, or even snacks at our price point. We are the only ones. And that's significant because right now we estimate that 60% of our consumer base is actually children. Hi. And for us, that's important because you heard me say earlier that 40% of East African children are chronically malnourished. Well, that number gets as high as 60% in some regions in Rwanda. So for us, selling in single servings is an easy way to target those children. But also our most popular bread, which is called the honey twist, is only 11 cents. And this bread has 7 grams of protein. 7 grams of protein for a small child is about 39% of her daily protein need. So one piece of our bread, and this child has a third of her daily protein need. And this has influenced our sales strategy in Rwanda at our bakeries because we're targeting lower income or rural elementary schools. And we're doing this because it's a win-win situation. Our bakeries can rely on a consistent daily order of bread, which is helping us increase our revenue and our volume, but also school children can rely on a protein-packed snack at school, which is something that they would otherwise lack. Now, I want you all to imagine this. A network of women-powered bakeries throughout East Africa that sell and distribute nutritious, affordable breads. That sounds pretty cool, right? This vision also may sound lofty, but let me explain how I think we can get there. So, for me, the social components of the Women's Bakery, so the women's empowerment or the nutrition, are what keep me going. But if it weren't for the real business potential of these bakeries, this model would not make sense. But the model does make sense because these bakeries are inching closer and closer to profitability. So right now, our bakeries have sold this year about 200,000 units of bread. And again, I know the audience that I'm in, but stick with me here. We're very proud of this number, 200,000 units, because, Henry, it's a tripling of where we were this time last year. But also, what it means is that our pricing scheme and distribution models are working. And to me, this is incredible because our pricing schemes and distribution model are incredibly innovative, right? As I said, we're targeting a lower income market and we're getting to them. So we're using bike men and we're using motorcycles to deliver to people. And I do think that this is working because our long game strategy is market share and brand loyalty. So this means that we need to intentionally keep our prices low but distribute our bread far. And we know that we can do that. And we're seeing that these bakeries are working and that we're getting closer to profitability. But in order to build this network of women-powered bakeries throughout East Africa, we cannot do this important work alone. It takes thought leaders like those of you at IBIE, thought leaders who can help us enhance our operations to ensure that we can achieve the kinds of sustainable scale that we know is possible. These kinds of partnerships are an extension of both companies' missions and they enhance both companies' missions. And as Kerwin can attest, these partnerships are actually working. And Rodmacher. So these partnerships are working because what we're seeing is that partners do see this vision with us, where we have the capacity to scale, where as our bakeries continue to inch closer to profitability, that door for scale opens wide. And I'm talking like the scale where we could be replicating this model throughout East Africa, easily employing hundreds, if not thousands of women, and feeding millions of people a year. And partnerships like these work because we're looking for partners who believe in the inherent power of women and are ready to invest in them and in their futures. Partners who are ready to invest in our long term, and partners who really partnership look like? Well, I can tell you at the Gicumbi Bakery, this bakery that's been operating for about a year, we've invested about $150,000 over the last year. So what has that gone toward? It's gone toward educating and training women. It's gone toward launching and operating a bakery and deploying our distribution system. And this bakery, as I said earlier, is flourishing. It's doing beautifully. So from a social side, each quarter, women are able to invest in themselves and in their families, slowly but steadily transforming their lives for the better. And then from a business standpoint, each quarter, this bakery is doubling their sales, meaning that more community members have access to nutritious, affordable breads, but also meaning that this bakery is taking steady steps toward profitability. So imagine what this bakery could do next year with partners like you, partners who can invest in another year for the Gicumbi Bakery, ensuring that we can enhance our operations and widen our distribution systems to achieve the kind of sustainable profitability that we know is possible. That is serious impact. Then imagine that impact replicated. And partners here can help us achieve that kind of sustainable replication. Partners who are ready to invest in creating opportunities for women. Partners who are ready to create opportunities for lower income families to have access to affordable, nutritious breads. And partners who are ready to help us replicate this model throughout East Africa. So, as you're thinking about your company's next strategic move, consider a partnership with Women's Bakery. Think about our vision to build a network of women-powered bakeries throughout East Africa that are selling and distributing